The apocalypse is coming. Are you scared? Are you prepared? The masses are running frantically, running from their fears, running with their tears. The apocalypse is coming. Are you scared? Are you prepared?
Still alive, and finally I'm saying this sentence not as an update but as a result. I am still alive. It's the 9th of October 2025 and today is the official announcement day of the ceasefire. Yes, a ceasefire after 2 years and 2 days of an ongoing genocide, an ongoing mass killing that was live on cameras. Everyone is watching and no one could stop it. Anyway, yes, I'm optimistic that this will lead one day to a change, to the ultimate and most important change, which is a free Palestine, a free land where the Palestinians are living in dignity from the river to the sea, celebrating their freedom, their sacrifices, their heritage and culture, their history and future, deciding everything related to their being, to their existence, to their land. One day we will be there and look at this moment and see it as a step, not as a goal. Finally, we'll be able to think of tomorrow while like not saying maybe I will be alive, maybe I won't. But again, nothing is 100% accurate. This is to tell you that we must not be naive. No one must engineer our happiness and engineer our feelings and our relief that finally children are not being massacred while sleeping. We only saw a face of the occupation and we switched this face, which is the genocide, and we stopped it, but we didn't finish the occupation. Palestine is still occupied. We don't have any authority, any sovereignty, any rights, any existence in the Palestinian, the historical Palestinian lands, even now in Gaza. Just keep in your mind that everyone right now talking about the plan, the peace plan, and trying to work on it has been manipulating you and will manipulate you, and that this is only a ceasefire as a pause of the killing, and enjoy it. But keep working to stop this and to change this whole thing. Don't be manipulated by the system telling you that they will stop killing you. Stop killing us. It's even more basic than a basic right. This is not what are we after. This is not what we have been killed during the past years for. Okay? We are after a free land, a free will. We're not after not being killed. We have the dignity of fighting until the end. This is a pause of the killing of the Palestinians. It's not what we want. It's not what we deserve after all of the sacrifices. My people deserves a freedom, a free Palestine from the river to the sea. Hey everyone, this is Bisan.
Hey, and you heard it there from the wizard Basan. We have a ceasefire. That's good. It's good for the United States. That's good for Israel. That's good for everybody. It's very good for the Gazans. The Lord has heard my prayers over the years. And hopefully we get closer to a two-state solution where the Israelis and Gazans could be at peace. That's what we all want, right? It's peace. We're here at GameCon Live, teaching. That's what I do, right? We have a whole teaching session here, and promoting our books in Pennsylvania. And we're gonna have Miguel join us in a little bit. So we are all hoping for, it's a great day, a peaceful day, um, and hopefully that this thing holds. There were some suggestions of tank fire on the north, other things that was going on, but overall, it's been a few days. There were a few skirmishes. Maybe they didn't get the memo, but so hopefully, we can come together as Americans and not feel so divided on this issue. I have lost some friends over my opinions, and I guess that's okay. It's something I have to live with. It's something that they have to live with. But ultimately, I stand for life, for peace, not politics first, not religion first. I'm not a religious person. Uh, I personally, being raised in a cult religion as a Jehovah's Witness, I believe that religion is a system of control, regardless of what you believe or who you believe. There's a lot of propaganda tied into religion as well as politics, and that's not what we need now. We need people to stop dying. So, I'm not a fan of Trump in any measure, but thank goodness that he was able to broker this temporary deal. Well, we don't know it's going to last. We can only hope. And then you have other things like ICE and so forth, which is a whole nother ball of wax, right? So it's we're approaching Halloween, so hopefully we can have a happy Halloween as well. So um, here at GameCon Live, what's interesting is that aside from our team of educators and illustrators, comic artists, we're the only game in town. It seems like everyone's selling knickknacks, dolls, poster prints, uh, tons of stuff. So I can see that there's a shift happening in the comic convention scene where we are pretty much dying. The movie industry is, doing well, but you see it. There's a slowdown there as well. But this GameCon, the celebrities here aren't movie stars. They're not comic book fans. I mean, comic book creators. The main attraction are YouTuber influencers, and that shows you where we're heading as a society in terms of comics and graphic designers. With the coming of AI, there is a major shift happening in the art world, and I think it's bad for some, good for others. But whether it's good or bad, what's definitely 100% accurate is that it is a challenge. And, it's a challenge for the arts, it's a challenge for artists. And yeah, I mean, anything that's good takes time to create and last, right? So, will AI just be a fad, or will it stand the test of time? And that's what I'm wondering. I'm sure a lot of artists are wondering that too. But like Photoshop took over airbrushing back in the early '90s when I was a kid in college. They were challenged. People lost jobs because of airbrushing. People lost jobs because of photography as well. Because Photoshop was, you can create photos and render them and fix them in minutes. What took hours in a lab. And that killed the airbrush industry. That killed a lot of different industries. So that's some of the risks that you take when you're as a creative person. Those are some of the things that we face and challenge, and that's part of the creative process. If you really think about it. No other way to see that. Here in the States, we have return of ICE. ICE is ICE is in Chicago. They're blocking them with salt trucks. They're doing a whole bunch of crazy shit. So I mean, it's we're in a we've always been to some degree uh, a police state. Yeah, yeah, and I would say since the 1960s, definitely in the 80s with the Move Nine and the bombing of the Move Nine, we've been a police state, and it's just gradually. I think 9/11, maybe the Oklahoma City bombing, all those little events, Boston bombing, the movie theater, the Batman movie theater bombing, Sandy Hook, all these things have led us towards becoming more of a police state, fascist state. These unfortunate events have driven the United States to in this direction of militarism as our forefront, as something that has always been, but has intensified. And what can I tell you? I mean, I'm an American. It's like I come from a military family. Um, People have made careers in the military. Nobody thinks that they're going to uh, defend against its own people, right? Like Chicago and all these other democratic states that are being flooded by ICE, even parts of New York. No one, I wouldn't say no one anticipated it. We all kind of felt it. It was like like that ache you have in the back of your mouth sometimes, like that toothache that won't go away. We always sensed it. It was always in the air that it could always go sideways real quick. But I think with the determination and courage of American citizens, not just activists who go out and demonstrate, but everyday people like you and I, who find ways to be defiant and in legal ways, and try to put our voices out there to stand up against the tide. I think we'll make it. I have a lot of hope for this country. I love my country. Um, I love being an American. A lot of Republicans say that Democrats hate their country. That's not true. Um, we just know that it can be better, and we're not willing to accept it as it is, or allow people to dictate to us um, how we should live, especially religion. And again, I grew up in a cult. I don't need the alt right or the MAGA crowd um, using Christianity to shove down my throat as a system of control, um, and or any other religion for that matter. So that's uh, that's my form of resistance. Doesn't mean I don't believe in God. I just don't believe in religion. Uh, Man-made organizations dictating the rules. That's also another form of fascism, mind control. Uh, Jehovah's Witnesses would separate you from your families, tell you not to talk to your family members that were not religious, not to talk about certain things. And that's exactly what's happening in this country right now. We're being told by certain organizations that we should not talk about certain things or discuss certain things or challenge certain things, all in the name of religion, sovereignty, and ethnic identity. And that is wrong. Period. Full stop. you know. So I mean, with that, we got another video. Got another video here. Been trying to collect videos over the last, just to get an idea, a sense of stuff that I've been wanting to present and talk about. So yeah, here we are, right? Um, and Miguel and I have a 6-hour difference. So yes. Hold on. It's loading in. Let's see. So it's texting him, let him know that we're alive, that we're doing this, it's happening, you know. And I was talking. Have you ever listened to WBAI radio? Here in many states, there are commercial free radio. There's community sponsored. I'm not. I'm not getting paid to endorse them, but I've listened to them for over 30 years, and I got to say that that is a community radio station that is worth supporting, listening to. From time to time, I go on there and make comments and call in and talk, and I think it's important that we as American society galvanize and organize ourselves to start seriously thinking about our role as citizens and our responsibilities as citizens, not just Netflixing and chilling, not just binging on television, but actually becoming active in your own government and your local government, um, in your society, in your community, and seeing what you can do to make the world a better place. You know. And with that, I'm going to turn to Greta. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen, and we can go to. Let's see. Here we go. Add to the stage. Oop, we gotta add to the stage. Hold on. We're at a convention, so it's
They do not represent me. And this is a last resort. That this mission has to exist, it's a shame. It is a shame. And I could talk for a very, very long time about our mistreatment and abuses in our imprisonment, trust me. But that is not the story. What happened here was that Israel, while continuing to worsen and escalate their genocide and mass destruction with genocidal intent, attempting to erase an entire population, an entire nation in front of our very eyes, they once again violated international law by preventing humanitarian aid from getting into Gaza while people are being starved. And we want to also emphasize that we do not only need humanitarian aid to enter Gaza, we need an end to the siege, we need an end to the occupation and the oppression. This action was challenging our extremely violent business as usual that is preventing these war crimes from happening. And that is what this story is about. We cannot take our eyes away from Gaza, from all the places of the world that are suffering, living on the forefronts of this business as usual systems. Congo, Sudan, Afghanistan, Gaza, and many, many more. What we are doing is the bare minimum. This genocide and other genocides are being enabled and fueled by our own governments, our institutions, our media and companies. It is our responsibility to end that complicity. And I also... No, not heroes. No.
And that was Greta. And here's Miguel.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
How's it going, man?
Good. How are you? I see you're
I'm good,
over
man.
there.
Yeah, just playing a video from Wizard Basan, and then also Greta about the flotilla. So you're up in Paris. What are they saying about the ceasefire and the flotilla and all that stuff?
In terms of Paris, I mean, it's ongoing. I think everybody understands, from what I've been seeing both in Spanish social media and French, that it's not over.
Yeah.
That the ceasefire got broken anyway. And when you
Yeah,
see,
it was broken. They had a tank fire on people returning home to the north. Seems like they're trying to really hold down that north section so that they can remodel it since it's a parking lot, right?
yep, and they've actually shrunk it.
They
So
shrunk
when
it.
you look at the actual map, it's not as big as it used to be.
Yeah,
It's
they're,
much
they're,
smaller.
they're
So
encroaching. Yeah, they're
yeah.
basically kind of like with Syria. They're doing that also that they kind of moved in and took a bigger
Yep.
chunk of land. You
What's
know.
kind of what they wanted to do to Russia.
Oh yeah.
They wanted to do the Balkanization, as they call it, of um, of Russia.
Yeah.
So this is the way just colonization works, right? Colonizing, and that's a hot topic because right now, today in Spain, and it's very kind of controversial now. There's arguments going back and forth because today is El Día de Hispanidad, the day of being Hispanic, celebrating. I mean, it started with the Second Republic as a means of sort of like the friendship with the Americas, but then
Right.
under Franco, it became a way of celebrating the conquests, which is never a good thing in my view. But there's sort of a fight over that, so it's a
Right.
European thing. It's
It's like a twisted history, right?
yeah, it is a twisted history, and there are too many who still apologize for the don't apologize for the colonization of the Americas. And there are those who do, and those voices
Right.
don't get heard as much. I mean, to move forward, you have to get to that. But because those things aren't resolved, you're talking from 500 years ago,
Right.
you have these things. But I can tell you from the graffiti, and graffiti tells you a lot about a city, particularly in Europe, because it's very political.
Right.
So, I, yeah, like everywhere you go is like stop the genocide in Gaza, you'll see graffiti for that in random places. So, the street's telling you otherwise. And from what the politicians are saying.
Right.
Last year, when I was in Basque Country, tons of Palestinian flags, and actually a lot of anti-NATO stuff too. So they don't want to be part of NATO. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on that you're not going to see on the mainstream media.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and she's right. It all works to the European elite,
Right.
you know, and even ours, because I mean, to me, the United States is just a satellite of Europe. It's European
Well,
culture
we're
imposed
still,
on.
they still call us the colonies, right? Over there, and
Right,
the
right,
United States itself is a colony. You know,
right.
it's a colony that became a world power. But let's face it, the largest landowner is was Queen Elizabeth, and now it's King
Charles.
Charles, right?
Yep, yep,
So I mean,
absolutely.
and
So,
I'm sure that when you look at the receipt, the name on the receipt of the bill, it has their name on it. It's still
but you know what's so crazy is that they just looked at a map and said, this belongs to me. There are people living on that land, like you look at French Louisiana. The Lakota Indians of that didn't know that the Europeans just said, hey, this all belongs to me.
right.
Right? It's just insanity. It's just like an insane person. No one went over there, hey, we're going to buy this land from you. No, they just, like they did to Africa
And still do
stuff,
it.
right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you still have slavery going on in the Congo, Sudan. You got starvation. It's like,
Libya,
yeah, it's like
in
someone,
terms of the Congo, this is a really sleazy thing. The whole thing with Rwanda.
right?
That's what led to what's going on now with Congo, because there's some rebel group that had been kicked out, if I'm getting this right. And they're the ones who are siphoning off all these resources, stealing these resources from Congo, and that's causing a conflict. Of course, who's behind it? I know everyone wants to pawn it off on China, but it's
Right.
us, the United States. So,
Exactly. Exactly. Their, their hand is in every pie, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and I feel that I'm not going to mention the creator, but a creator who I consider a very good friend, even I would say even say a brother. Just basically unfriended me privately, not publicly, but still. Uh, when we have these conversations, we're not cursing the Israeli people. We're not saying they don't have a right to exist. We're not saying that they shouldn't exist as a state. We're criticizing governments, and first and foremost, Israel, is also like a colony of the United States. And
Yeah.
say probably jointly with Britain. It's like so we're insulting and attacking the government. We're attacking Netanyahu. We're attacking his, just like where I attack Trump. I'm not attacking Americans. I'm not
Mhm.
I'm not being anti-American by criticizing my government. And I think this atmosphere that they're creating, that you cannot make a criticism about the government, is synonymous with attacking a people or a religion, and that's not the case. This person feels that when I make posts in support of uh, like what's happening in the world, and bringing awareness to it, that I'm supporting Palestine or supporting terrorism or endangering Jews in America. And I had to point out to him, it's like, well, number one, I never met a Palestinian. Just never. I don't know any Palestinians. No Palestinians follow me. Um, a bunch of Trump supporters follow me. A bunch of Jewish comic book creators and fans follow me. Um, and I don't think I'm putting any person, at least it's not intentional. Um, but I 100% believe that I'm not endangering anyone of the Jewish faith when I state my opinion, because I'm fucking nobody. I don't
Right. Right.
have a I don't have a platform with millions of people or hundreds of thousands of people following me. I'm not shaping people's opinions like Charlie Kirk. Um, I'm just a guy, who's
Concerned.
concerned not only as an American citizen but as a human being, and
Yeah.
and vocalizing it because um, this person had on their page saying silence equals complicity, right? And that was for the Israel side, but I was like, yeah, you're right. I should talk about this. I should be vocal about it. But I guess they didn't expect that I'd be vocalizing it the other way.
Right.
That's,
Right.
and that's okay. That's my opinion, And that you and we've known each other for years,
Mhm.
and we're no bullshit. We say it like
No.
it is. We call it like it
Yeah.
is. And I'm not. I don't have to kiss anyone's ass. No
Right.
government, no entity, no statesman or statesperson. I'm always gonna say it. And if that gets me killed, oh fucking well. It's like,
Well, to be honest with you, I would say that the big elephant in the room for most Americans is coming to the conclusion of something that many people around the world understand and vocalize more freely. This patriotism that we have, these countries that we have, are forged not by the people. That's
right.
not forged from the bottom up. It's forged from the top down.
Yes.
Who tells you you're American? Because some rich landowners got together, did this, created this thing called a nation, right?
Right.
So
Right.
you take a look at Spain. 500 years ago, it wasn't Spain. It was starting to become Spain. It was different kingdoms with different languages. And the same thing goes for each of those kingdoms.
Yes.
And oftentimes they were ruled by people who weren't even from that land.
Right.
For example, Louis the 14th was half Spanish, right? Because there's this greater family, the royals in Europe, that intermarried, and everyone had to speak French. That was the standard language.
Right.
So even when it comes to racism, a lot of times, and I'm going to beat up on some on the left, we think, oh, this is because they're ignorant and poor. No, 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 no. This was created from the academia in the late 19th century and earlier that disseminated down to the poor people. Now, when they changed it up here, they're going, well, look at these poor slobs.
Right.
They just absorbed that into the culture. It's the pollution from all that shit. So we have to understand that when we're criticizing governments, and I know you understand this well, that what we're doing is we're criticizing the people who shape our culture
That's
because
correct.
they're the ones who choose what we get to see, what we don't get to see, what we
Right.
can say and can't not say. So when we fight each other instead of saying, "Hey, I do feel that this might actually hurt me, but maybe I'm taking it too personally,"
Right.
person to person. But when you sit back, we're all getting played. Because if you look at Israeli media, they will tell you they're on Netanyahu's ass
Yeah.
because they know that they created Hamas. They
Yes.
know that Hamas was created to slice up the
Yeah.
PLO.
And
And
funded by the
anyone that
United
has a
States.
problem, go look at Norman Finkelstein. He'll tell you,
Right.
right? And that's the thing. This is about power, control. This
Right.
creation of tribes is to keep us divided so we don't so we they keep their power as opposed to we get
Yes.
to have our own autonomy. So that's my rant.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and religion as a whole, whether it doesn't matter if you're Buddhist, it doesn't matter if you're Hindu, it doesn't matter if you're Muslim or Jewish or Christian. Religion is an institution and it's a system of control. And whether I mean, you don't have to be in an organized religion to believe in God or to be spiritual, to be even if you're a Satanist, it's like they're all systems of control and indoctrination, and you know, and some people need that, and that's okay. Some people need something,
Yeah.
someone to follow. I'm not bashing that either. We have freedom of religion in this country, but it's my prerogative not to follow any of them. Just
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
I don't want to be a Democrat, I don't want to be a Republican.
Uh, and you're completely 100% correct. Perhaps that's why, for me, I'm such a Dune fan because Dune does a very good job of showing you how religion is used to manipulate the masses for the very powerful. The idea of creating a messiah that everyone follows that is predestined, but really it's an implanted idea into a population from an
Yes,
organization,
right. And
right?
it's a rich family.
And
A
it's yeah, these
ruling
rich
class.
families who are freaking eugenics nuts, right? They're mixing with what to get this crazy spiritual thing, and it's a very negative story. But I think there's power in nightmares. That's why I think we love horror, right?
Yes.
Um, so what I was gonna say to you was, here's the kicker. Here's the one thing that most people have a hard time digesting, even if you're atheist.
1 second.
Sure, no problem.
Let's play a video real quick.
Okay, I'll get back to my point later on that.
Well, actually, continue your point because we're live. So continue your point, and I'll be right back.
Well, I'll wait for you because I want to get your reaction. You can play
Okay.
whatever you want to.
Let's we got a quick video here because I have a customer.
Do your thing.
This show has been a little slow. It's a good show, but it's been a little slow. It's like it's like let's see what we have here. Oh, so it's 2 years. It's been 2 years since and I just want this was like a video that this guy early on had talked about
Zionism began as
Zionism.
a
Yeah, go ahead.
project of evangelical Christianity. Long before Jewish intellectuals suggested the idea of creating a Jewish state in Palestine, and the motivation was anti-Semitic. In the vision of evangelical Christianity, could not have the end of time, the resurrection of the dead, the return of the Messiah, without the return of the Jews to Palestine. But it created a good pretext to encourage the idea that the Jews should not live either in the United States or in Europe. So I used to call it the double bill for anti-Semites because they get rid of the Jews and, so to speak, they get back the only Jew they want, which is Jesus Christ. This kind of group was very important among the British policymakers. Lord Balfour, who is behind the Balfour Declaration, was a very known anti-Semite. His greatest worry was that anti-Semitism in Russia would push hundreds of thousands of Jews into Britain. So he legislated in 1906 the Aliens Act in the British Parliament that was specifically meant to disallow refugees from Russia to come to Britain. Not surprisingly, when he began his connection with the Zionist movement, he saw even a better solution than trying by force to prevent Jews from Eastern Europe to come to Britain. It was better to reorientate them to Palestine. On top of it, he was told by British imperialist strategists that a Jewish Palestine would justify the integration or the incorporation of Palestine within the British Empire. Zionism began as a project of evangelical Christianity. Long before Jewish intellectuals suggested the idea of creating a Jewish state in Palestine, and the motivation was anti-Semitic. In the vision of evangelical Christianity, could not have the end of time, the resurrection of the dead, the return of the Messiah, without the return of the Jews to Palestine. But it created a good pretext to encourage the idea that the Jews should not live either in the United States or in Europe. So I used to call it the double bill for anti-Semites, because they get rid of the Jews and, so to speak, they get back the only Jew they want, which is Jesus Christ. This kind of group was very important among the British policymakers. Lord Balfour, who is behind the Balfour Declaration, was a very known anti-Semite. His greatest worry was that anti-Semitism in Russia would push hundreds of thousands of Jews into Britain. So he legislated in 1906 the Aliens Act in the British Parliament that was specifically meant to disallow refugees from Russia.
That was bad. I don't know why these guys just don't take the sale themselves, but it's just like, it's just like, oh, you got a sale. It's like, just take the money. It's like, sorry about that. Go ahead. Continue.
No worries. No, what I was going to say is that how deeply entrenched religion is in our society.
Yes.
It's through our, let's put it this way. If it wasn't for religion, we wouldn't have finance. And here's why. The word money, right? And by the way, to let those of you know why I know most of this stuff is because I've been doing economics comics, and I've been doing book covers for a man by the name of Michael Hudson. Michael Hudson, if you want to really deep dive into some stuff that will definitely bend your mind and open you up to a completely different perspective, I recommend his books. They're chock full of really great information. I've done book covers for him for things like superimperialism, the collapse of antiquity, and forgiving their debts, and a bunch of others. And ultimately, all of our language that deals with, like, say, for example, money. Money comes from the goddess Juno Moneta. The temples were where we actually had banks. That's where we made contracts for things. So this might actually, for those who are religious, who might be sitting there going, wait a second. Temples, banks, if you know your scripture, you know Jesus got angry at the money changers. Now, from what Hudson was saying, it wasn't the money changers that he was upset with. He was upset with the fact that the Pharisees were getting rid of this thing called Jubilee, which was debt forgiveness. Now, keep in mind that another word for debt in our language is sin.
Sin.
So start to think of, and then you think, oh, well, I did this, I did that. Ancient Egypt, you had to, they balanced your sins on a feather. So you're starting to see the finance side to this, right? It's cosmic accounting. Here's the other thing. The word credit originates from the Latin word credo, which means belief. A whole system runs on belief. So whether you believe in a God or not, we're still running on a system of belief. So those who think, well, we can just unravel the religion thing. Oh, no. Oh, it's so deeply entrenched in us. Right? So we have to keep this in mind.
And maritime law as well. Maritime law is governed by maritime law as well. With we're talking about flow of currency and things like that. It's like.
And when currencies disappears because people have no faith in it anymore. We have an act of faith that starts every Monday morning and ends every Friday afternoon. It's called the stock market. Why is it that something's worth less or more? Really, when you think about it logically, it makes no sense. But it's emotion. We run on this emotion that maybe it's going to bring me more money. or it's going to be the it thing.
Right.
You know, both of us lived through the 1990s, the Image comics. All of us thought, oh, we're going to get #1 comics. We're going to become millionaires in 10 years from now. And everyone who's got that one issue #1 of Backlash, whatever it might be, and you
Yeah.
got 10 of them, you know they're worthless.
So I just got an alert from Haaretz, which is one of the newspapers, Israeli newspapers that I follow. That's where I
Okay.
get a lot of my information from, and the Jerusalem Post. Yaniv Kubovich, he's talking about Israel army making preparations to prevent surprise attack amid Gaza withdrawal. And then you have sponsored by Israeli donations of villages built for Gaza and orphan children. I'd be worried suspect about that. And
Mm.
it's like so. I mean, a lot of people that criticize me, Hamas forces repeatedly battle local militias as aid trucks start entering Gaza. So now we have like these private militias, which we know are funded by Netanyahu because he admitted it. You know, there was like a mafia that existed in there, and now Hamas is actually battling with them and trying to allow food trucks in. So it's like right there.
Hmm.
It up, it's right there. It's like this is like real. So to those who have made claims about me being anti-Semitic, I tell them, no, you need to educate yourself because it's been 2 years and a lot's been going on. And if you don't know, you need to know. You know, and this is not a time to get offended. It's a time to get educated.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and it's like I'm not. A lot of people are like, oh, you're reading TikTok, oh, Instagram. I was like, oh, sure, I watch a lot of those reels without a doubt. But when I talk about Israel, I'm going to the source, and I'm using those reporters as my source. Just like we know that Benjamin Netanyahu funded October 7th. That's right out of
Yeah.
Haaretz.
Yeah.
And
But
it's
see, here's the thing, like from the very beginnings of Israel, the leadership knew Israel always needs an enemy
yeah,
because one of the things that's not talked about enough, there is a deep division in Judaism.
yeah.
There's a deep division, and
Between the
it ranges
Orthodox and the
from the
Zionists.
Ashkenazi and Sephardi
Yeah,
groups who don't like each other.
yeah,
So what unites people is a common enemy.
right, exactly. It's kind of like
So
Puerto Ricans and Dominicans,
right, or
or the
Dominicans,
or the Haitians and the Dominicans,
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah,
yeah,
Dominicans.
or the Irish and the British.
Well, in that sense, the English were really awful. They were pretty close to what's going on today. I mean, they were
Okay,
trying to colonize Ireland since the. I'll give you an example. When they took over Ireland, all the Celtic laws that they had, they made it null and void. They didn't allow the Irish to partake in the any of the laws that they set up.
right,
So it was a form of colonization.
right.
Um, you know, in many ways, people don't understand this, but ground zero for all this nonsense starts here in Europe.
Yeah,
Because we think, oh, Europe, blah, 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 but there's tons of languages that have been suppressed for French, Spanish, German, because there's a whole bunch of dialects most people wouldn't know outside
right.
of Europe. So then they just took the show on the road. I said, all right, oh, wow, this place called the Americas. Let's take that shit over there.
Right.
Let's take this shit over here to Africa. So keep that in
Right.
mind.
Yeah. I mean, did you hear about the South African? Is he a prime minister? I guess, or I don't know if they say president or prime minister. I forget. That brought up the charges against Israel, and the ICC was assassinated. And I think that was in France, wasn't that in France? Where at a hotel?
Yeah, I heard something about that. Yeah, there's been a lot of sort of weird deaths, like the three guys from Qatar that got killed, the diplomats. Three
Yeah,
got killed in a car crash yesterday, and three were injured. So
yeah. It's totally. It's an insane time to say that.
it's always an insane time.
It's always.
It's always an insane time.
Yeah, that's why I laugh about. That's why I laugh about. Sorry about that. That's why I laugh. I'm trying to queue up the next video. It's like I laugh about like how people, especially Christians, constantly talk about the end of the world. It's the end of the world. Sign of the times. It's like no, we're just a shitty species, and it's always the end of the world for someone. As if every day someone dies, every every morning a child is born. Right. So
Right.
You
I
know,
like to think, actually, kind of think a little opposite to you on this. I don't think we're necessarily a shitty species. I
right.
think that we're divided between people who are very kind and well-meaning, and a few who are sons of a bitches who are manipulative.
Yeah,
And people who are kind-hearted fall for their bullshit and go along with it. Because
yeah,
it's hard for them to imagine that we have bastards running us, right? I think that's the problem. I think when you see other indigenous societies and stuff, they had their problems and stuff, but it wasn't to this point. Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think it's a mixed bag, but I think that we're being run by sociopaths.
Sociopath. Yeah, and John
Yeah,
Lennon said that as well. You
yeah,
know,
sociopaths.
what
I
is
mean,
what is the reasoning for going to war other than population control and the theft of minerals and land?
mhm.
It's a minerals war. It's always been a minerals war. I mean, that's why we're constantly talking shit about China. China is like our is like a girlfriend that we cannot. It's like the girlfriend that you love because she gives you so much, but you can't stop talking shit about her.
Well,
It's like
yeah, yeah, I
it's like we
suppose.
depend on them. It's like America's like a bad child talking shit about their parent.
Well, there's a little bit. I don't know if anyone who watches the video will know this, but there's a reason why the United States and the West is so scared of China.
Oh yeah,
And it comes down to China was partially colonized.
yeah,
Most of China was colonized thanks to the opium trade.
oh yeah,
Now, there's a reason why they're afraid of black people or whoever getting into power. And we see it right now. Oh my God, they're going to do to us what we did to them. And now seeing this Titan emerge, they're worried. Now, the rare earths that we're talking about, the minerals, they're available everywhere. You can
right,
find them anywhere. The problem is the processing of it is very expensive. And our culture in the West has put so much money, or let's just put so much focus on just fun with math. Oh, we financialize this, we do this, that the tangible things like making shit,
right,
logistics,
right,
all this AI stuff. Oh, we're going to have AI. With what grid? Our grid can't support it. Our grid popped in 2003. You lived through the 2003 blackout, I'm sure, right? It's
right,
because of a stupid tree that fell.
right,
So it's like, but they don't live in reality. They live in this other realm of fantasy land. And now they're dealing with someone who, or someones, who are very grounded in reality, China. And they're saying, oh, yeah, okay, let's just see you make those bombs without these minerals. And they're throwing a tantrum, you
yeah,
know? It's like they have their balls in the vice, you
yeah.
know? And the thing is, it's not even China who's tightening it. They're tightening the vice themselves,
Themselves. It's like
which is
self-hate,
crazy.
self-torture.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, self-hate. Yeah.
so yeah.
It's like what was it? The old saying: "You cut off your nose to spite your own face."
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. But let's be real. The West has dominated for 500 years.
Yeah,
So 500 years of being top dog, you're going to get lazy.
absolutely.
That's what we're seeing now. They're just like an out of weight boxer who has been eating, the ho-hos and the Nathan hot dogs and hitting the beer. And now comes in a dude who's like, all leaned up like Bruce Lee. You're
Right,
like, oh, I'm gonna go fight him. It's like, dude, you can't even do road work anymore. You're not doing your sit-ups and I can do it. I'm, name the boxer.
right.
So yeah, what can you do?
Yeah, I think a good example of that is the last Tyson fight where you had the YouTuber
Oh, I know. I
talking
know.
so much shit, and then basically wasn't going to win. He basically paid the guy to lose to throw the fight.
And Mike admitted it.
Yeah, he admitted it. And that's the United States.
Yeah.
United
Well,
States is this influencer. It's like.
yeah.
And then
Except they're
China's
not going
like,
to pay
okay,
China to.
yeah, I could. You want to talk shit about me? I still make parts for your missiles and your weapon systems I feed you. It's like,
But you know what?
you
It's
get the
not the first
semiconductors.
time. It's not the first time in history that's happened.
Yeah, of course.
Because Spain, for example, in their greatness, a lot of sarcasm.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know this, but the Netherlands used to be a colony of Spain. So Spain, because they wanted to clamp down on the whole religious thing and say, "Hey, you can't be freaking Protestant, you got to be Catholic." They had a huge war fighting with the Netherlands. Now here's the kicker: guess who was making their weapons? The Netherlands. So it's just like,
it sounds familiar. I think we talked about this before, but that's funny. Yeah,
yeah.
like, no, we're gonna go after the guys that make the weapons. It's like,
So what do we do? And like, I mean, the way I see it is now this whole focus on Venezuela is this, well, I can't fight you guys over here. You too big.
right,
I can't fight these guys over here. That's going to cause me a lot of trouble. Well, come closer to home and I'm going to beat up on this guy.
right,
And it might not be the fight that we think it's going to be because our military is not what it used to be. I mean, we messed it up for 20 years,
right.
right? So I don't,
Human nature is that we're always going to be fighting someone, right? Within our existence, we've always had wars, especially the United States. We never stopped having wars in the United
yeah,
States. And that Gene Roddenberry world that he saw of the Federation is nowhere near our reach until we get these boomers and Gen Xers that are hell bent on war running the country.
Well, the problem is that they've never had the cost of war. Like I could tell you other cultures who've been pounded by it. China doesn't want war.
No, they don't.
China lost 20 million people. They got,
Their war is through ingenuity and technology. That's how
you
they're
know,
winning.
they
That's the way
want, tr
they're winning.
but they want trade. Like
Yeah,
when you study the wars in the eastern side versus the West Eurasia and East Eurasia. West Eurasia, meaning Europe, always did this. Holy shit, how can we get the peasants to go along with us to get this shit done, right? So we want to go over here and get these routes opened up over in this place called Jerusalem. Fuck, I don't know. Oh, yeah. Tell them God told us that we got to do this. The Pope will tell them we're going to do this and we'll go over there and we'll make it seem like it's all about freeing the Holy Land. Eastern side, Genghis Khan, the big baddie, right? Everybody's like, oh, they're just literally like, hey, man, you want to steal some shit? Yeah, I'm down with that. Okay, let's go. No God, no nothing. We're going to go steal shit. But in the end, it ends up being about trade. Westerners always put Christianity as some sort of excuse or democracy, which has replaced this idea of democracy. We've had democracies that own slaves, whether it was, how can I put it, Athens, whether it was the United States, both of them own slaves. Democracy doesn't necessarily always mean justice. Justice is the application of an informed population who makes the right decisions of what's just. It's like, oh, I got a hammer. Now I'm a carpenter. Fuck no. You still got to have the skills to be able to use that hammer to build something with it, right? So I think there's a lot of these little wedges in between. Whereas in Asia, it's just literally outright, yeah, we're just going to steal shit. there's no, you don't hear, oh, Buddha came to me. Nah, man, nah. You in? Yeah, I'm in. That sounds like, that's it. That's the big difference is the bullshit that we do. Now, does that mean that their version is right? No, right? That doesn't mean that the other version's right either, but at least there's
right.
more honesty,
Yes, exactly.
you know.
Yeah, I mean that's the world. That's the world that we live in. Unfortunately, this is it's somewhat tied into our nature. It's but I mean, maybe one day, maybe the younger generation, maybe these alphas will figure it out, or the millennials will figure it out. But who knows?
Right.
Maybe not. Maybe not. You know?
Well, a lot of it's conditioning. You'd be
Yes.
amazed. Like nature versus nurture has always been the big thing, but they found out no, it's via nurture. In other words, what we nurture is what we get because we are a very flexible animal. Like that's why we have different languages. If we were just one, we would always just have one language. We really wouldn't develop another one. It'd just be uniform.
Right. Right.
So, a language to me is a way of how we prioritize and see things. Like, for example, being a loner, not a thing in Spain. I had to communicate to a lot of my friends who a friend of mine shared with me a video of Spider-Man, one of the movies, and the guy was Spanish dude was cutting it up, going, "How is it possible that a guy that good looking could not have any friends?" And I had to say, well, wait a second. I told my friend, technically, there are periods of time that all of us North Americans go through. We're not hanging out with anyone. They're like, what? Because it's a culture. You sit down in a park, you go to read, someone will sit down and start talking to you. You're at no point are you ever freaking alone. So,
Yeah, I feel like when I was a kid, I told this to my students. They think I'm crazy. I'm like, there was a time when before cell phones, when you took the train to work or anywhere, and you would just have a conversation with a stranger on the subway.
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember the day after 9/11. I had a cell phone, but not many people had cell phones. And I remember the day after 9/11, the entire train car in New York City going to the Bronx from Manhattan, we were all talking about how Giuliani was behind 9/11 and laughing about it. It was a tragedy, but there
Right,
were no tears. And this is literally like the next day, right? And
right,
we're
right.
cracking up, we're laughing, we're talking about, this is fucking Giuliani that did this. He was in no command center. He blew the shit up. People were talking politics. People were talking about, you know, the similar characters that we're dealing with now being involved. And
Mhm.
this is not any like graduates with doctorates, or this is like everyday people coming back from the supermarket, coming back from laundry, and people know, people understand this, and and it doesn't matter where you live. People see bullshit a mile away. Kind of like this whole Charlie Kirk thing.
Oh
It's,
man.
I mean, you saw
Yeah.
the videos I sent you.
Hmm.
I don't know. I would say 99% sure that the guy is still alive, and it's a total false flag.
Right. I am the opposite in terms of his life, but I
Right.
do think it's an inside job.
Yeah, that's a joke.
I think
Someone
it's an
pointed
inside job.
out, somebody pointed out that he was holding up his own neck as they were dragging him to the car. And if you were shot by that bullet, your spine and then your neck would be gone, shattered, and you wouldn't be able to hold up your neck
Right,
and
right.
dangling
Yeah.
your arm, like his arm was moving
There's a
as they're
video I
putting him.
sent you. The guy was explaining that it was a much lower caliber bullet.
Yeah,
So if it was a smaller, lower caliber, I don't know how that would do, but he explained how, and they showed it in the jelly. Like, so they were
yeah,
showing the different bullets going. The one that everyone said it went right through.
right.
Then the other one went a lower caliber went almost through, and then the other one stopped, but then it expanded. So
Yes,
when you see his neck,
yeah, it does expand. Yeah,
it does expand,
it does.
right? Which would have snapped his thing off. Um,
Right.
Either way, the result is the same. It
Yeah,
was to create a political martyr.
absolutely. And yeah, did you
And
see Candace Owens? Candace Owens just released text between Charlie Kirk and his wife 2 days prior, where he was asking for a divorce.
oh man, wow.
And I'm not a fan of Candace Owens, but she's got the fucking inside scoop on this. Her finger's on the pulse. I mean, she's really like
Well, for that, it's her world, right? So
Right, it's her world. Yeah.
it's her world. All I could say is she better
Be
be
careful.
careful,
Yeah.
very careful,
Yeah.
because no matter what anyone wants to say, it's like the mob.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think she's at the point where she's probably thinking that I don't want to live in a world like this anymore.
Yeah,
So if I get killed, so be it. You know.
yeah.
And for a young person to feel that way is terrible. But
Especially with kids, young kids too.
she has kids. Yeah. But I
So,
mean,
and I'm
it's
not a fan
great.
of Candace
It's not.
by any stretch of the
Yeah,
imagination.
I'm not a fan of her, but and she is anti-Semitic, like big time, saying that the Jewish people are Satanists, and I don't agree with that at all. I mean, she's an ultra right Christian. Um, not my cup of tea, not my speed, but the brazen, the
Yeah.
balls, the cojones, the moxie that she has,
See,
really, like, wow.
here's the problem. This is my assessment, and I'm probably 1,000% wrong, maybe. But here's my assessment. This is why it's very important for those people who, like your friend, who after many years got upset. Why we need to talk about it. Because this is exactly what usually happened in Europe oftentimes. So the kings go to do some bullshit, and they decide, okay, well, to sort of give myself a cushion, I'm going to use Jewish people to do this. So when shit goes south, what do they blame? Well, it wasn't me. It
Right,
was the Jewish guys.
right.
So with this whole thing with
They've been the
Israel,
scapegoat for a long time.
yeah. So if this goes south and it affects our standing in the United States, and this is where the thing, not just in the United States, but in the world. And you already see Tucker Carlson saying this bullshit. He said, ultimately implied that the Jews were the ones that killed Jesus.
Right,
The setup is because they never can take the blame for themselves. When
right.
things go south with Israel at any given point, what they're going to do is they're going to blame Jewish people, bar none. You see it. That's going to be the Candace Owens and all the others. And that is very dangerous. So to head them off at the curb,
They have that agenda. They have that extremist Christian agenda. That whole
yeah,
Handmaid's Tale Christianity that they want to introduce to our society, and I'm totally against it.
yeah,
Continue.
yeah. And the thing is, when things go south, they're not going to say, well, it was us evangelicals who did it. They're going to find a scapegoat. And that's the danger part. And that's why we all have to be educated. Because as much as some people are saying, oh, what we discuss might be anti Semitic, what's going to come after is going to be the real deal. And it's important to stop it before it gets to the real deal. Right. And that's how I feel about it. Because if you know about the evangelical prophecy, it's ultimately that um, Jesus comes back, offers the Jews to convert. Those who don't convert go to hell. That's the Israeli Jewish ally. That is the most anti Semitic thing one could believe. And to be with that ally, how could you trust them? You know?
They have
So,
that the enemy of my enemy is my friend mentality. That's what it is.
yeah, but I
And,
think they could turn into an enemy in a heartbeat.
oh yeah, I mean, and most of our enemies were allies at one point. You know,
Yeah.
if you read the Art of War, it talks a lot about that too, about generals and how generals should treat their soldiers and how how they go into war and like how you treat people in general. And I think that everyone that's in our United States government needs to read that book because they totally done, they just do not have the respect for other nations or other nations' sovereignty or for their own troops, and it is going to lead to a mutiny. If you don't take care of your own people, your own soldiers, if you don't give them dignity and respect, if you don't give your people dignity and respect, if you don't give other people from other sovereign nations dignity and respect, you're just holding a fucking grenade with two hands like this. And that's what these guys are doing. Um,
Absolutely.
you know, and,
Absolutely.
in no shape or form would I want anyone to be harmed of any
Yeah.
group, of any people.
Yeah. I mean, peace
I mean,
is.
during the pandemic, people were yelling, coming up to my wife and screaming at her, "Go back to your country" and all that, and Chinese this.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of Asians that were being attacked, verbally attacked, um, because lack of education. You know,
Yeah.
lack
And
of
let's just say that hate is what allows those who have the money to control all of us. That's what it allows it to be. And we have to understand that it's a divisionary tool that's been instilled in us, and it's very deep, it's cultural, and we have to do something to unravel it. And on your point on the military, absolutely. Here's the scarier part. Um, if you know about the history of the French Revolution and Napoleon, Napoleon was a general that took advantage of things being messed up during the revolution and had a coup. So, by what was said to those generals, I'm not saying they're going to do that, but it puts us in a position where someone who's a little ambitious might say, "Yeah, I can take Peter Thiel's money. I can take this guy's money. We can just take over." Like, if you create a dog eat dog kind of world, you end up opening up the gates of hell, you know? Um, and of course, I don't want any of this stuff to happen, but as adults, we have to sort of sit there and realize there's a whole bunch of variables that can happen, right? So being aware and of what's going on is very important, you know.
I just muted myself because of the noise in the
Yeah,
background.
I know.
But absolutely, it seems that there's a powder keg and they just want it to go off. Just the same thing with ICE in Chicago. The mayor of Chicago flat out said we have to defend ourselves, uh, and took all these salt trucks to block entry for ICE to come in, and no one's serving them. No one's going to feed them. No hotel's going to take them in.
Wow.
They are on the brink of having a Crispus Attucks and the Boston Tea Party, but in Chicago. You know, you know,
Yeah, yeah, and
it's getting that serious that fast.
but like what I don't understand is this, like, well, I guess because they don't read any history. I think that's first of all the problem. Secondly, they have no idea of strategy. You
Yeah.
don't want because I don't view it as a superpower. I've stated this many different episodes. I view it as an empire. You don't want your imperial core to go up in flames while you're trying to have a war with Venezuela. And not that I condone a war in Venezuela or anywhere else, but strategically speaking, from that perspective, you don't want these fires and then burn yourself up too while you're at it. It makes no sense. It's no sense.
And let's face it, if we go to war with Venezuela, it's going to be another Vietnam because we're on someone else's home field, and we have that they have the home field advantage, and we're going to
Yeah.
get our asses kicked. So I want,
Plus,
yeah, go ahead.
plus, Russia is going to supply them, and China is going to supply them.
Right,
So we're going to be dealing with Chinese and Russian weapons. It isn't
right,
just going to be whatever Venezuela has,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
So,
Let's take a look at these ice trucks in Chicago real quick.
sure.
Let's take a look at this.
Oh, I guess the forecast in Chicago calls for snow.
Look at those fucking trucks blocking
That's
the.
an awful lot of salt trucks. That's an awful lot of. I don't see this many salt trucks when it fucking snows. Blocking off Grant Park for the taste. Or something. Well, I guess.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's
The
hilarious.
United States is on the brink of war with itself.
And he declared war on itself.
You know,
You know. That's the thing. He declared war on itself. And this whole thing about Antifa, as much as we can laugh about it because it doesn't exist, keep in
Yeah.
mind that there were other places that people like it was the coup in Guatemala that we did. We thanks to the Dulles brothers, we painted that gentleman, I forget his name, who was the leader, who was just basically asking for the workers who were working the fields
Right.
that they would get paid better, that some of the stuff would be nationalized. So we painted him as a communist. He wasn't a communist. We overthrew him. Um, then Patrice Lumumba, we did the same thing. We painted him as a communist. He wasn't a communist. And I mean, they didn't just kidnap and kill this guy. They like literally melted him down in acid. So the danger is we can laugh and say, oh, Antifa. But the danger is that it doesn't matter if it's Antifa. He's just going to go after whoever he thinks, is criticizing him, and that's something that we should take seriously.
Unmute myself. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, it sounds like there's like wrestling going on in the back or something. That guy's like,
Yeah, it does. What's going on
we're
over there?
making an event. I'm at GameCon here, so it's mostly games. We are the only comic book people here in this whole show.
Oh, wow.
We have two kid sections. We're doing a kid section here. I'm doing an animation demo. I got Mike Gracia doing some drawing. Tom Siak is selling toys with his and Trumpland. We got this guy Frank Rodriguez, Andrew Frank Rodriguez selling maps. We have this girl Allison here, and, Rich Mauricio from the Animaniacs, and a few other guys doing like children's books over there.
Mhm.
The Mariano brothers, I don't know if you remember those guys, and Jamar Nicholas. He's here promoting his book from Scholastic.
Oh,
So,
good.
but that's it. It's like literally like 10 of us, two groups doing kid stuff, and everything else is prints, costumes. Not that many cosplayers, mostly video games and YouTubers. So I thought it would be appropriate if we were, here, since it's mostly YouTubers and we're on YouTube, right, with our 6th episode, right? So
That's right.
here we are live at the GameCon, right, talking our shit.
Mhm.
you know,
Yep.
you know. And there's another game show I'm going to do next week in Peekskill. So that one's going to be fun too. So that's
Cool.
Saturday, 1 day show.
It's probably a good thing because I think that these shows, it seems like from over here, have gotten separated. Where before you would have the games and everything, comics. So it's probably a good way of reaching out to a new audience.
Yeah. And these are growing because the gentleman that runs this show, he was part of another show that he started years ago, 3 years ago. That's how we got connected with them. He sold that event because it was so successful. And then this is a new event. So this is his first year doing this one. So he did the other one for a few years. During the pandemic, he sold it. Then now he's starting in the same venue, different show, but similar concept.
Cool.
And the other one was just YouTubers. It was like an all YouTube show. Like it was just like I don't know if Mr. Beast was here, but there was a bunch of YouTubers last time, 3 years ago, and that was pretty well. Actually, more than 3 years ago. This was post-pandemic, right? So I mean, pre-pandemic. So it's probably more like 5 years ago because it was before the pandemic. Yeah, so time flies, right? It's just like I'm saying 3 years. I was like, no, it's more like 5. It's 2025, or was it? So yeah, it was probably like 2019 actually when we did this show.
Wow. Yeah, it's true. Once you get past a certain age, you're just like,
It's like that episode of Q with Captain Picard, that last season finale.
right. It just melds.
He's like an old man, then he's on the bridge, and then they're like, "Oh, you got dementia." And it's like he's being manipulated by this alien.
Because I mean, like, when you're a kid, 4 years seems forever.
Yes.
As an adult, you're like, "Pff, that's nothing,
Nothing.
right?
Flew
So
by.
yeah, it goes by real quick.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So if you're in the States next year, maybe we can get together and do this show together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not setting foot in that place for till that guy's gone. Yeah. I
Maybe I
don't
should
want a
go to
trip to El
France.
Salvador. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
No. That is, of course, if his health is terrible. He doesn't look like he looks like he's winding down. So
Yeah.
who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? Who
Oh
knows?
yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of videos you sent me.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I get a little over enthusiastic,
No problem.
overzealous. You know, you're part of a small group that I send videos to.
No
To
problem.
I find them. Well, I say some of them are total bullshit. Some are funny. Did I send you that Mr. Rogers with Pablo Escobar?
No, but maybe you did. You sent me a bunch, but there was one
There's one
with
with
Trump.
Tupac. There's one with Tupac.
There's one with Trump. He was in a tutu and
Yes,
he was talking
yes.
about what did I do wrong? The 6 and 7s and the 7 and the 8s and all that craziness.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's crazy. This,
So,
this, yeah, it's the sad thing is that
what
I
did
think
we do?
we're gonna really feel reality. I think it's gonna come December and January.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
I'm thinking like before the internet, before social media, what did we do? Like, we didn't have anything to send anybody except for letters in the mail, right? It's like,
But people still organized.
oh yeah,
People still organized.
yeah, for
That's the
sure.
crazy thing. And it was tough for them for the system to know what you were up to. They had to actually hire people to actually go there and infiltrate groups
Yes,
because they didn't have these little doodads who were like, yeah, we'll just listen in. All right, okay. So yeah, they're up to that. Okay, let's just send over some police force and we're good to go, right?
right.
So different, you know.
And I've been trying to retract those videos that were kicked off of Facebook. Our first two episodes are in limbo. So at some point, I'm going to have to file a subscription with StreamYard again so I can try to see if I can access them because they seem to have it on lockdown. Facebook removed our first two episodes.
Wow.
Nowhere to be found online. So that means we're doing the right thing,
That means, yeah.
We're on the right side of history.
Yeah. Mr. Fuckerberg.
Yeah. So
Well, actually, you were talking about how someone unfriended you.
yeah, yeah.
I unfriended someone this
Right.
season.
Someone else. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention his name,
Yeah.
but I will mention he has a particular woman of Asian persuasion, Japanese to be exact, character that I just had to let go. Very conservative guy, seems like a sweet person. I've talked to him a few times. A mutual friend of ours was his editor, and I had to say goodbye. I just couldn't anymore because his support for a certain situation.
I think because I work with kids and I worked with criminals for so long, I have a high tolerance for bullshit
Right.
and
Right.
stupidity.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think of,
No.
so I feel like most of my family are right-wing Republicans. A lot of them are Christian Zionists. They don't even know what that means, but they think that's who they are. A lot, they're like, I follow this because I believe in Jesus, and they're the chosen people that the Bible says so. And I'm like, well, if you read Revelation, they were no longer, they lost favor. But of course, semantics.
Well,
But
there is a passage.
I don't cancel them out because I've been canceled out. I feel it's a shitty feeling. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to. I have done it. I'm guilty of it, but it's usually for other reasons. I mean, we only got two choices in this shitty election that we have here, and I don't fault anybody for making dumb decisions because most people that were in prison were because they did make dumb decisions. And genuinely, even though some of these people were horrible, I worked with murderers, rapists, uh, pimps, drug dealers, con artists, thieves, and genuinely, the majority of them, if you had a conversation with them, they were quite likable people.
Yeah. I mean,
But
my
they have
issue's
a
not
sense
even
of humanity, but they just make really bad decisions, you know?
my issue's not even with those people because most often when you do talk to people like that, I have a very I mean I put up with hearing a lot of maggot stuff for 8 years from the person on
Yeah,
my feed,
yeah.
right? A lot of stuff about South Side of Chicago, upset about Charlie Kirk
I
and all
am.
this other stuff. But when you come out and you outright say you support what Israel's doing,
Oh yeah, that's just
and
that's true.
I'm like, I'm done.
And there's no love. There's no love for genocide. You know,
Yeah,
no
that's
love. Anyone says that has like I love a Netanyahu shirt. I'm like, I'm not talking to you. You know,
yeah, that
I
was
mean,
my line. I'm
that's your
like,
yeah.
he kind of went
No,
overboard.
and I respect that because maybe I'd be a bad politician. I'd be like oh, you know, I get like that Larry David. Well, you know.
Well, but here's the thing though, like a lot of
But
the a lot of the a lot of the people you mentioned, I mean,
I always try to find the good in people.
yeah, I try.
I try. But I've been canceled by a few people. He wasn't the first. This guy. He was I think the third. I've had a lot of people unfollow me, but during the Trump election, I lost maybe 800 followers. I was like, who cares?
Well, here's the thing,
you know?
it really comes down to the system sucks shit.
Yeah.
There's no amount of duct tape we're going to put on the system to make it freaking work.
All right.
So then the next conclusion is, what do we do? Or how do we collectively, like all of us together, figure out something better?
Right.
It doesn't mean perfect. Perfect doesn't exist, but shit, it could be better than this. We can at least all of us, left and right, admit, yeah, this is kind of suck shit, right? And I'm cool if okay, you can be right wing, whatever. I'm gonna tease you,
Oh yeah, I'll make fun of him. Then I
tease
get
you.
away scot free.
But yeah, but genocide is just one of those things. Like, no,
No genocide. No.
you're done.
Yeah.
See
I
ya.
mean, I can't tolerate stupidity. Like one of my cousins, for instance, he just says, "Oh, I don't care about all this. I just love Jesus. I follow Jesus." I said, "Well, if you follow Jesus, you can't support that." I said,
Yeah,
"Jesus would not support genocide." You know?
yeah. Well, the irony is
Yeah.
the genocide of the people who technically are his descendants,
Right.
because this is the land of Jesus. In many ways, I think of it poetically. I think, isn't it kind of funny that we're kind of having a judgment day? In that we now know where everyone stands on genocide, mass murder. There are those who are for it, which is completely inhuman, and those who are against it, which is basically human. And it's ironic that it's the land that he came from.
Right.
So it's like a laying of bare of who everybody is. This is your person. This is who you are.
Well, it seems like the people who are religious are very well. At least the people that are using religious beliefs to profit off of oil and gas, because that's what Gaza has, natural gas right in their waters. They don't want the United States, Britain, France, Germany. They already and Israel. They basically want that natural gas line in the north,
Mhm.
and that's why they want to really push them.
Yep.
Hamas, no Hamas, Muslim, no Muslim, I mean, there's lots of Catholics there. No one's talking about them, right? It's like it's like
No, they don't.
they don't even want the Catholics to have any control of it. They don't want people
No.
to have. And they killed a lot of Catholics. They destroyed the third oldest church that was
Yeah.
in Palestine, right?
Yeah.
So right there in Gaza. So I mean, it really comes down to that pipeline, and there's oil there. They want to control that, just like Europe controls the diamonds in Africa. They control the gold, the cobalt, the freaking all the natural resources that go into laptops. Um, they don't want people of color to have control of their own natural resources. They don't want any Wakandas rising up, uh,
Well,
and
and the idea of sharing,
yeah, like oh, heaven forbid, right?
because I could tell you something, right? So the prices for us in terms of electricity here in Europe, for example, it's not like I'm getting a bargain. So they're getting these resources for like next to nothing from over Africa or wherever it might be. They come over here and make the electricity. And then all that wealth that is extracted from there, from my pocket too, and everyone else's pocket, goes to a select few of people who are like, 1%. They walk off mad, like crazy madmen to the bank. They're like record profits, but inflation is up. Inflation is their profits. It comes out of our pockets, right? So it's kind of funny how that works. There's a poem that I always love. It's by a guy who pretty much in the Spanish language, he's an asshole. When you say Quevedo, that's in Spanish. Yeah, they go, yeah, he's a prickly pear. He's an asshole. But he had one really good poem. It was called Don Dinero. And in it, he says how the gold is born in the Americas. It's brought over to Spain. It's buried. It dies in Spain, but then it's buried in Genoa, which was the banking part of Italy. So what they're doing is the people in Spain never get to see the gold. That goes right over to the banks. And it's been going on like that for 500 years. So in terms of even the white people they're saying they're not going to get it. It's a select few. And all of us from brown to freaking lily white who are poor, middle class, we all have to realize we're all getting screwed from top to bottom.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's they're gonna tie these people up mentally in this mental prison, and they're not gonna even realize they're in the cage or on the frying pan like the frog until they're cooked.
Yeah, they do it all the time.
And
they get
in some ways, the heat's already up. But people are. What's funny is that these idiots in our government think that we'll do this and we'll do that, and then the people will rise up against us, and then we'll bring in this Qatari army from Idaho to the clone troopers to invade, and because they have no skin in the game, right? They're gonna just bring these Qatari armies to fight Americans. But Americans are so complacent with their fucking Netflix and their social media and their streaming that they're gonna be like,
Yeah. There's something about the 90s that used to really get me going. And I complained about my wife all the time, my co-writer. And one of the things that used to bother me all the time was the level of apathy we adopted. We adopted a high level of apathy in the 90s, and it's really biting us in the ass now. So.
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Well, they're gonna start doing workshops here. I think one started.
All right.
I'm encroaching on his space here.
Space. Okay.
Using my computer as the main hub for this drawing thing. If you look over here, we have like I taped down the computer so no one can steal it. I have like gaffer's tape all over the laptop so they can't. If they try to snatch the computer, it'll take the entire tablecloth and the monitor.
They'll have to take the whole table.
The whole fucking table. I'm just like, oh, I can't move it.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Yeah, because I can't watch the computer 100% of the time. So,
Wow.
it's like, yeah. So, Yeah, it has this little arm apparatus thing for drawing here. He's got this whole thing set up with connected to a monitor so people can see him draw.
Oh, cool.
And it looks like the crowd's coming in slowly. It's always a
Cool.
pleasure. I hope to see you next Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's becoming a thing.
Yeah, it's becoming a
episode
thing.
6 is in the can, right? It's like,
Oh, and this time you didn't show any copywritten anything, right? So you don't have to
yeah,
cut
yeah,
anything out.
exactly.
Right. Okay.
All right, it's always good seeing you.
Good to see you. Likewise, man.
Let's
Always.
sign off with our signature
Running
video.
frantically, running from the fears, running with the tears.
I gotta get better with this. I gotta get better with this transition.
You're on the field, man.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
The apocalypse is coming. Are you scared? Are you prepared? The masses are running frantically, running